The wind carries death across the Loess Plateau. For centuries, this 250,000 square mile expanse of northwestern China has been hemorrhaging soil into the Yellow River at a rate that defies comprehension. Every year, 1.6 billion tons of sediment, enough to bury Manhattan under 60 feet of dirt, flows downstream, turning the river into liquid mud. This isn't just erosion. This is ecological collapse in slow motion. The plateau once fed ancient Chinese civilizations, its fertile Loess soil supporting millions of farmers for over 4,000 years. But by the 1950s, overgrazing, deforestation, and intensive farming had transformed this breadbasket into something resembling the surface of Mars. Gullies carved by flash floods stretched deeper than skyscrapers are tall. Dust storms buried entire villages. Families abandoned homes that had sheltered their ancestors for generations. The Chinese government faced a choice. Watch one of their most historically important regions become uninhabitable, or attempt the largest ecological restoration project in human history. The scale of degradation seemed impossible to reverse. Experts predicted it would take centuries to heal, if healing was even possible. But something extraordinary was about to begin. Something that would rewrite the rules of environmental restoration forever. The numbers painted a picture of environmental catastrophe that seemed beyond repair. Soil erosion rates on the Loess Plateau reached 18,000 tons per square kilometer annually, nearly 40 times the global average. In some areas, the fertile topsoil that had taken millennia to form disappeared completely, leaving behind hardpan clay that couldn't support plant life. Dr. Liu Guobin, a soil scientist at the Chinese Academy of Sciences, spent years documenting the destruction. His research revealed that the plateau was losing soil faster than any other place on Earth. "We were watching the death of a landscape in real time," he later recalled. The erosion wasn't just removing dirt. It was eliminating the biological foundation that made life possible. The Yellow River, fed by this constant stream of sediment, had become so clogged that it frequently changed course, flooding millions of acres of farmland downstream. The riverbed rose higher each year, creating an elevated waterway that threatened to burst its banks and devastate the North China Plain, home to 400 million people. Traditional conservation methods had failed spectacularly. Tree planting efforts died in the alkaline soil. Terracing couldn't keep pace with the erosion. But Chinese scientists were developing a radical new approach that would challenge everything the world thought it knew about land restoration. In 1994, the Chinese government launched the Grain for Green program, the most ambitious reforestation project in human history. The plan seemed impossible. Convert 25 million hectares of degraded farmland back to forest and grassland within 15 years. To put this in perspective, that's an area larger than the United Kingdom. The program's core strategy defied conventional wisdom. Instead of fighting the landscape, scientists decided to work with it. They identified that the plateau's unique Loess soil, despite its tendency to erode, retained excellent water-holding capacity when properly vegetated. The key was selecting the right plants and placing them in precise locations based on microtopography and water flow patterns. Dr. Fuboji, an ecological restoration expert, developed a revolutionary approach called landscape configuration. Rather than randomly planting trees, his team created detailed maps showing exactly where each species should go. Drought-resistant shrubs went on steep slopes. Deep-rooted grasses stabilized gully edges. Trees were planted only in areas with sufficient water resources. The government offered farmers grain subsidies to retire their most erosion-prone fields. This wasn't just environmental policy, it was social engineering on a massive scale. If you're finding this restoration story as fascinating as we are, hit that subscribe button to stay updated on more incredible environmental transformations happening around the world. The transformation started slowly, almost imperceptibly. In the first years of the program, survival rates for newly planted vegetation hovered around 30%. Critics called it an expensive failure. International experts predicted the project would collapse under its own ambition. But Chinese scientists had learned from early mistakes. They developed drought-resistant varieties of native plants specifically adapted to the plateau's harsh conditions. Sea buckthorn, a hardy shrub that could survive on slopes too steep for other plants, became a cornerstone species. Its deep roots prevented erosion, while its nitrogen-fixing ability gradually improved soil quality. Local communities became partners rather than obstacles. Farmers received training in sustainable land management techniques. Village cooperatives formed to maintain newly planted areas. The government established a monitoring system that tracked vegetation coverage using satellite imagery, creating accountability at every level. By 2000, the first major successes became visible. Satellite photos showed patches of green spreading across previously barren hillsides. Stream flow became more regular as vegetation began intercepting rainfall and reducing surface runoff. Wildlife species that hadn't been seen for decades started returning to restored areas. The momentum was building, but the most dramatic changes were still to come. Between 2000 and 2010, the Loess Plateau experienced an ecological resurrection that stunned the scientific community. Vegetation coverage increased from 17% to over 60% across the restored areas. The Yellow River's sediment load dropped by 90% in some tributaries, the first significant reduction in recorded history. The changes cascaded through the entire ecosystem. As plant cover increased, soil temperatures moderated, and moisture retention improved. This created conditions for more diverse plant communities to establish. Grasslands that had been grazed to bare earth began supporting dozens of native species again. Wildlife populations exploded. Roe deer, which had been locally extinct, reappeared in the restored forests. Bird species diversity increased by 300% in some areas. The plateau streams, once muddy torrents that flowed only during storms, began running clear year-round. Local climate patterns shifted as vegetation influenced regional weather. The restored areas experienced increased rainfall and reduced temperature extremes. What scientists call the green water effect began operating. Plants releasing moisture into the atmosphere that returned as precipitation, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of restoration. But perhaps most remarkably, the economic benefits began matching the environmental gains. The restoration didn't just heal the land, it transformed the lives of millions of people. Farmers who had struggled to grow crops on degraded soil found new opportunities in ecotourism, sustainable forestry, and specialty agriculture. The sea buckthorn that stabilized eroding slopes also produced berries rich in vitamin C, creating a new industry worth hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Carbon sequestration became another revenue stream. The restored vegetation captured an estimated 50 million tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere each year, generating income through international carbon credit markets. This turned environmental restoration into a profitable enterprise rather than just a cost. Water security improved dramatically. The restored watershed now provides clean water to over 100 million people downstream. Flood damage decreased by 80% as vegetation slowed surface runoff and reduced peak flow rates in rivers. The success attracted international attention and investment. The World Bank provided additional funding to expand the program. Other countries sent delegations to study Chinese restoration techniques. What had begun as a desperate attempt to save a dying landscape had become a model for ecological restoration worldwide. The Loess Plateau had proven that even the most degraded environments could be brought back to life with sufficient commitment and scientific knowledge. Today, the Loess Plateau stands as living proof that large-scale environmental restoration is possible. Over 40 million hectares have been restored since the program began, an area larger than Germany. Soil erosion rates have dropped by 90% in many areas. The Yellow River runs clearer than it has in centuries. The project's success has inspired similar efforts worldwide. Ethiopia adapted Chinese techniques to restore degraded highlands. Rwanda used the grain for green model to reforest mountain slopes. The methods developed on the Loess Plateau are now being applied across Africa, Latin America, and other parts of Asia. Climate change makes these restoration techniques more crucial than ever. As extreme weather events become more frequent, the plateau's restored landscapes provide a buffer against floods and droughts. The vegetation acts as a carbon sink, helping mitigate greenhouse gas emissions while providing economic benefits to local communities. The transformation of the Loess Plateau proves that environmental destruction isn't irreversible. With scientific knowledge, community engagement, and sustained commitment, even the most damaged ecosystems can recover. In an era of environmental crisis, China's Green Revolution offers hope that humanity can heal the wounds we've inflicted on our planet. Thank you for watching this incredible story of environmental transformation. If you enjoyed learning about how science and determination can restore even the most damaged landscapes, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us continue bringing you stories of innovation and hope from around the world.